No, I'm real happy that you're excited about gravity, bud, but you're not getting any answers from us until I get assurances.
Assurances?
Yeah. Like that we're getting out of here, and I don't mean in the trunk of some car.
Don't you know who we are, Coop?
No, Professor, I don't.
Hello there, and welcome back to Kerbal submarine program. We appear to be a little wet, and also alive?
That's right. Despite sending our best pilot on a one-way fan meetup with Davy Jones,
do you feel this?
Huh? And then also maybe stranding our second best pilot on the moon, our tourists, rather inexplicably, managed to survive their landing. Say what you will about Boeing, they make a mean submersible.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Speaking of which, as you watch this, I'm actually becoming one myself. I'll be in the Philippines getting my scuba diving certification this week, so if I'm a little slow on the comments for a change, you know why. If you're watching this in the future, well, what took you so long? Do we have real hoverboards yet? Is Jojo Siwa the president of the world? These are all questions I need answered. And speaking of taking forever to happen, reality has finally caught up with us. If you're on the members tab, you may have seen this post asking you to leave name suggestions for ships and stations. Members of the average hair enjoyer tier above also get to name Kerbals. I'd like to give the people actively watching the series first pick on the Wheel of Names, so if you'd like a specific name or want me to choose one for you, please go check it out on the membership tab. And boy did people choose for themselves. We had one still active vessel due for retrofit, and we're long overdue to give Jedman Kerman the makeover they deserve.
It's Pikachu!
But enough of all that jibber jabber, we've got Duna probes to launch. And as I'm sure you can tell by the somewhat reduced funds currently available to us, I've already got one ready to go. Man, R&D is expensive. Okay, so this over here is the Sloth 1. Let's just zoom out a little bit so we can get an idea. Let's start at the bottom and work our way to the top, because there's a couple little discussions we need to have here. I would show you this on the launch pad, but I'm currently too broke to even roll it out there to look at it. So at the base of our rocket, we have this, the Porpoise liquid fuel engine. The Porpoise liquid fuel engine. It is a 1.85 meter engine, one of the newer ones we've got, and it provides a truly unfathomable amount of thrust. It's like 1.2 kilonewtons, I think, of thrust. Hold on, let's have a look at this lad right over there. No, sorry, 1,300 kilonewtons of thrust in vacuum and, 1.2-ish at sea level, which is a lot. Now, it eats fuel very quickly, so we've got some drop tanks that will go along with it. So basically, this engine will burn, it'll use the fuel in these tanks first, and then we'll ditch them. It would actually be better to stage these in 2 sets, but I think it looks more interesting to drop them all at once. So that's how we're going to do it. We'll probably put some solid rocket motors in here to push them away as well. In fact, why don't we just quickly slap that on? This thing's already too expensive anyway. Let's just make it worse. Why not? So we've got to face them this way, and then we just got to drop them down a touch. Now, the whole point of these tanks, basically, is to have a little bit of extra fuel that we can pump through these pipes. The engine will burn it, it'll drop them, and then we'll lose the weight of that fuel. And we'll basically be starting with, you can think of it like a fresh rocket from the next stage. So then that's going to continue to keep going and hopefully put this thing into an orbit, right? That's the plan anyway. And here we have our brand new engine. This is the Nerva solid core nuclear fission engine, sorry. This is the most basic one that KSP allows, and they are really interesting. Rather than burning both oxidizer and liquid fuel to get somewhere, you just burn liquid fuel. You run it over some hot rocks, in this case uranium-238, and you allow it to kind of just heat up the liquid fuel, turn it into a gas, and as it expands, it pushes back against the rocket, thus producing thrust. It's a very small amount of thrust, like 60 kilonewtons, but it is thrust. So as you can see, our thrust to weight ratio at that stage is 0.46, so it's going to be very slow. And then we get to the top here. So this is actually 5 probes that you're looking at. We have a central column, right, the core of it over here. This is controlled by a Probodobodyne Octo with a couple of antennae. We got some backup ones as well, and a big old relay dish on the top. And the sort of the real defining feature of this thing is this spine of girders running down the center. It's got its own unique mission set. It's got 6 science experiments over here, as is our rule, right? We said that if probes are not going to go out to a planet, they can have a maximum of 6 unique science experiments. And if we want more, we got to launch more probes. Now, when I was making that rule, I didn't really consider what it would mean if we had multiple landers on the same mission. So I put up a post to the community center. I was going to say, I guess it kind of is one these days. The Discord, the community Discord. And I asked the channel members on there, I said, what do you guys think? Should we be allowed to take multiple probes, each of which has their own unique science sort of setup on the same mission? And the answer was yes, but with a handicap, which I thought was quite cleverly designed. So what they suggested was that you can have 6 science experiments on a single probe. However, for each subsequent sub-probe, for example, lander 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, you got to remove 1 science experiment. So the first probe can have 6, the second one can have 5, the third one can have 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. And I think that's a really interesting way to do it. So it's a handicap, but it's not too much of a handicap. I remind you that the reason we made this rule was so that I would have to make more launches, just to create a more interesting sort of playthrough, rather than, because, you know, typically in KSP, if you want to min-max it, you just put 800 science experiments crammed inside a single payload bay, all part clipped together, and then you action group them and you just press 1 repeatedly while you go around a planet. It's not very interesting. So we've done that here. We've got the 6 unique experiments on this probe body here, which does have a experiment return unit, should we ever want to go out there and get them. And this is going to do all of the high altitude or spatial sort of science, right? Then we have landers set up in different configurations. So here, this probe has 5 science experiments. We've got a thermometer, a barometer, a seismic accelerator, a goo containment unit, and a magnetometer. That's 5, right? That's going to be our first lander. That's going down to Duna. Next, we've got this one over here. This one has a environmental dynamic analyzer from the extended science mod. We've got a data camera. We've got the gas chromatograph, which I think is actually stock. And we've got another thermometer, that is 4, along with a pressure meter. Hold on. Oh, yeah, no. Get rid of that pressure meter. Not allowed to be there. So we'll take the thermometer with us on this one. Allow it to land. Well, to be completely honest, if we're taking a 5th experiment, let's take a more valuable experiment, right? So the seismometer is worth 6 grand. We could also just take a cheaper experiment. Yeah, you know, now I'm thinking about it. I think we'll just go take the cheaper experiment. All right, thermometer it is. Perfect, perfect. So yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 experiments on there. Then moving up, we've got the next lander, and I think this one's going to end up going to Ike. So it probably doesn't need the parachute, but, you know, c'est la vie. We got a seismometer, a barometer, a thermometer, and a magnetometer. And over here, we've got the 3rd and final one, which has a radar imager, a atmospheric fluids variometer, and another thermometer over there. And so that's our science setup. That's what we're going to be taking with us to Duna. Thank you all for voting on that. I really appreciate it, but we can't afford to launch this thing yet. So we're going to have to do a little bit of other stuff first, but I think this gets us started, right? This is what we're going to work towards today, is getting enough money to launch this as quickly as possible, because we do have the Duna transfer window has arrived, and we do kind of need to do something with it soon. Now, our vessel over here may look a little overbuilt, but it does only have 8,600 meters per second of delta V. That sounds like a lot until you realize what we have to do here. So if we have a look at our delta V map, this is how it works. We're going to leave Kerbal with 3,400 meters per second of delta V, right? It's going to tell how much it takes to get to lower Kerbal orbit, and that's assuming you do it right. And well, let's be honest, my launches aren't exactly perfectly efficient. Then it's another sort of kilometer per second-ish to get out to Kerbal, like the actual solar orbit, to escape Kerbal's gravity well. Then you get down to Duna. It's pretty cheap, actually. You only need about 130 meters per second of delta V to do a flyby of Duna. To capture is about 250, to completely circularize is about 360, and then to actually land and take off again, if you did it propulsively, would be 1450. But we're not coming back with this mission. They're going to land and stay down there, and we've got parachutes, so we don't need this bit. which means we've actually got like an extra 4,000 Delta V that we can work with, which is why I think we might be able to do some Ike missions. We also have a relay antenna on top of this thing so that we can actually communicate with Kerbal, because at that distances, I don't think our tracking center is going to be able to do it. All right, but let's go ahead, save the Sloth 1, and put it back in our pocket, and let's pull out a different ship. And this is actually a ship we've seen before. It's just gotten somewhat of a makeover. This is the Skur Rescue 2. And there it is. Somewhat less dramatic, isn't it? The Skur Rescue is going to be used to go out there and rescue some Kerbals. Last episode, as we mentioned, we may or may not have stranded and or killed our only pilots, meaning that we need to start collecting some more. The plan here is that we're going to just do a handful of rescue missions while we build up the funds in order to launch the Duna mission. And then, once the Duna mission arrives at its destination, we will hopefully be able to make some cash off it. However, Duna transfer window, the ideal time to launch is in 11 days. For Eve, we've got 2 months, roughly. So, we definitely need to do some quick rescue missions, get that off the launch pad, do some more rescue missions to keep building up our Kerbal roster and continue to get some funds, and then we need to then send a Do Eve mission out as well. Moho would be nice, but we don't have to go to Moho. The reason we need to go to Eve, because we have a contract to go there, and because Eve is really, really easy to land on. Almost impossible to take off from, but really easy to land on. So, let's get started on this. Let's do a quick rescue mission. Let's see who we've got available to pick up. Who's out there? We've got Kelby from Order Kerbal. Let's accept that. That's going to be another 70k we can work with. The advance pretty much pays for the cost of the Skur 1 launch. Let's do this. Damn it, Kelby, not what we needed. Another scientist. And grab. There we go. Okay, jump in, buddy. We got him. Lovely. 0.3 science earned. That's what it's all about. 11,000 funds, but more importantly, contract complete, right? Oh, and Kelby actually got a whole bunch of ribbons. Lucky them. So Kelby is now part of the team. Pikachu, unfortunately, was a miner, but has been made into a scientist because roster manager turned them into a tourist, and I couldn't put them back into a miner. So they're just there now. We're not going to be using roster manager anymore, that's for sure. But yeah, Kelby's pretty brave, pretty stupid. We'll give you a new name soon. We now have 203k, which means that we can actually indeed launch to Duna. With Kelby, I mean Cornelius Kerman, now safely returned to Kerbal, we had enough funds to launch our Duna mission. We have also scrounged up enough count change, mostly thanks to the wonderful generosity of you handsome devils, to pay Blackrack to cast some spells upon my GPU and make the game look even better for us. Plus, our clouds are now even fluffier than before. These changes won't be included in the mod pack on our community Discord. If you would like your game to look like this, please go support the incredible work that Blackrack is doing over on his Patreon. I'll link it all in the description. Enough promotion of incredibly deserving members of the KSP community. It's time to dunk on them all with the launch of the Sloth 1 rocket. Duna or bust, baby.
Is dubstep still a thing?
dubstep never dies.
By the way, I know there's a lot going on screen right now, but these are all the different planetary orbits, right, that are zipping around. There's Eve, there's Moho, there's Duna, and this is Kerbin's orbit, third planet from the sun, just like home. Now, something to understand, right, is that if you want to play the game without mods, getting to Duna is not that difficult. All you have to do is wait for the sort of relative angle between Kerbin and Duna to be a bit less than 45 degrees. So example, if that was 90, right over there, if that was sort of, we drew a 90-degree angle from Kerbin to the sun to Duna's orbit, it would be about there. So if we can split the difference, if Duna's about halfway, it's just a little bit less than halfway between that point. If it's at 45 degrees, so if we go from Duna to the sun to Kerbin, if that angle was about 45 degrees, you can launch. If you launch any other time, you can still get there. It's just harder because Duna's either going to be on the behind Kerbin, which is, it takes a really long time to go that way, or you have to launch into reverse orbit, which takes an insane amount of fuel, or Duna might be behind the sun, in which case you'll have to sort of like wait a couple orbits for it to loop back round. There's many different ways you can get there, but this is the most sort of fuel efficient way. Now, we've still got 2,177 meters per second of delta V, which is a lot. It was a little sloppy because I did spend a rather embarrassing amount of time taking B-roll shots and not paying attention to my maneuver node. So we overshot it just a little, and we are actually going to have to do another maneuver, just a few meters per second of delta V out there so that we can kind of bring that back in. But if we have a look at our delta V map, we are currently in Kerbal orbit. That's where we're heading to. And getting into Duna, to get a full capture of Duna, is only like 300-400 meters per second. It's not too much. So I think we'll be fine, and we'll still be able to go to Ike with one of our landers. So I think this mission can be declared a success. What we're going to do is we're going to point it towards the sun. It could actually face down because these panels will just pivot up. Okay, so the question then becomes, what do we do now? We've gone ahead and we've launched our probe off to Duna. We've got 50 days and 54 days before Eve and Moho show up. So those are definitely something we could work towards. Moho is kind of Mercury. Eve is kind of Venus. There's also Dres out there. If we really want to go to Dres, we could, but there's not much going on in Dres. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's just zoom out here for a second. There it is. It's kind of like Ceres. It's a bit of a gray rock. That's about it. In fact, one of the loading tooltips in the vanilla game, I'm pretty sure, is ignoring Dres, which is so funny. Moho is Mercury. Moho is interesting because Moho has just some more sort of like varied geological features. I mean, it's still a rock, don't get me wrong, but there is the Mo hole somewhere. It might be on the dark side at the moment. Is Mercury tidally locked? I don't remember. Now we've got a little bit of options available to us. There's also Eve. Let's zoom in. It might lag a bit as the clouds load in, but oh my glob, look at that! Wow, that is it's an absolutely. So it's got like a purple haze, and then it's got a little bit of looks like green clouds. Ooh, it's gonna be very cool to see. However, our real destination is Jool, because Jool is where the anomaly is, and in order to get to Murph, the black hole system, we're definitely going to want to go out there, right? We're not going to be flying there sub-light, that's for sure. That'd be rough, to say the least. Oh my god, the clouds cast shadows. I'm Blackrack. Are you single? Because I'm looking to marry. Over here is our Jool transfer. It's 1 year away. So basically, we've got 4 missions we got to work towards. We got Eve and Moho, which are 50 days away. We'll probably launch those in this episode. We won't get there in this episode, but we will probably launch it. Dres and Jool are much further out. In fact, Jool's an entire year away. But, to be completely honest, by the time we've landed on Duna, it'll be time to go to Jool, and we'll be able to unlock so much science and so many new techs and things just by doing that I think we'll genuinely be able to push forward quite a bit, which is really, really exciting. That's lined up very well. So what do we do in the meantime? Well, I think we try and continue knocking off some of these quests. Our current mission is to go to Eve. That's our Exploration Plus mission. I wish it was Duna. And our second objective is to go to Duna, of course, because that is where our strategy is taking us. So I guess the next best thing would be to just continue rescuing Kerbals. So I think it's going to be time for a go-go magic montage of the Skur 2 mission, just constantly flying up, picking up Kerbals and dropping them back on the planet. I think that's where we're at. My god, that took a while. Congratulations to Angel 3, Mel Roman, Kenneglitch, Nathaniel Ozeri, Lumberlord, Sven Ruhland, and Mikhail Gigerovich.
Girgilovich.
Gierverovich, yes. Yes, good buddy friend, good job. For making it onto the roster. That officially fills us all the way up, and we're going to need to invest in a few more bunk beds before we can take on any more Kerbalnauts. This is a very good problem to have. Which meant that there was nothing else to do but wait until the Sloth 1 finally reached its adjustment maneuver, other than to begin collecting some of that sweet, sweet science, of course. In fact, pause the video right now and comment down below just how much unspent science you think we're going to have by the end of this episode. We had around 800 before transferring back this batch, just FYI. But, without further ado, Duna. Whoa, look at these. That's awesome. Oh my god, look at this thing. It's definitely been a while since I've been to Ike, because this is all news to me. That is a dramatic landscape. Look at those ones in the distance there. It's incredible. Excellent. And now we log. Good. And we send. Does this little thing have enough data? It does. Okay, now we do actually have quite a bit of Delta V left on this ship, so we could do a couple other biomes. The question just becomes, what are the biomes? I have no idea. I think for now we leave it. I think we say that this is just such a cool position to be in. I think we should say, you know what, you stay right there. We'll be back for you. And I would like to quickly head back to the Space Center and just see if we can't pick up any contracts to collect science from Ike or Duna or space in Duna or space around Ike or whatever it may be, right? Because that's easy money, and even though we were bajillionaires right now, we can always use more money. Things are very expensive in this game, especially in the late game. Some of those engines can run you several $100,000 per unit, so definitely worth checking. Landing on Duna, absolutely something we can do. Manned return from orbit of Duna Ike crew. Ooh, it's all very tempting. 999,000, insane. Okay, no, as much as cool as all this stuff is, it's not really what we need right now. Well, I mean, that being said, like, very little stops us from just taking that contract. You know, we've got $1 bajillion. Let's go maximum on this bad boy. I think we need to take the L on the Munstone quest. I don't think that's happening. And I think we go ahead and pick up some of these. I'm mostly just trying to keep a clear visual here. We will go back to Minmus when we plant our base, so let's actually pick that flag planting mission up. And then let's pick up all of these crude missions as well to Duna and Ike, because that is something we will have to do. It won't be soon. We've got other stuff we need to do for the moment. But fetching an asteroid's not a bad idea either, because we can use that as a mining hub to produce fuel in orbit. All of these things, very cool. And look at that money. Very nice. That's going to be even better coming from Duna itself. Who knew that crystals came in red? We'll have to tell the boys back at their lab that the blue stuff is so last season. However, that would have to wait. We've got more science to cheese, and to do so, we need to head back to that big old dusty ball of Gruyere next door. My god, we have cleared 11,000 science. Actually insane. Plus an extra 50k for Ike's Western Mountain Ridge. Very, very cool. Which, in classic audience retention fashion, is where we're going to leave this one. Will the probes make it? Will we ever stop teetering on the edge of financial collapse? Will they ever catch up to Jim? Only time will tell. Specifically, next time, when the series continues. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay cheesy, San Diego. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations and thank you. That puts you in the top 3% of viewers. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here is a list of all the patron and channel member names. If you don't see yours on there, you can find a link down in the description where you can sign up and support this content directly. If your name is on there, well, you probably already know that, huh? So, what are you still doing here?